I am what? Tagging him? Tagging?
Yeah, tagging.
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 I am
Tag.
fuck.
Yeah, no.
And 5, 4.
Okay, hello everybody. So it's my turn. I'm with Justin Smith from Saxum, good friend to me. And so I'm tagging, now it's my turn. I didn't know when I started the story. So Eric somewhere trapped me, and so now it's my turn to trap Eric. Justin, sorry. So Justin.
Now I'm trapped.
Yeah, you're trapped. And after, don't forget, you will have to tag someone else.
Yes.
So, you know, it's funny because I know you now since more or less 17 years, since I arrived in Paso Robles.
It's been that long already?
Yeah. My English is not still so good. But,
Your English is a lot better than it was.
So you imagine how it was. And so it's funny because I never, I would say, ask you this kind of question. And so I take advantage of this interview to know a little bit more how you ended up, I will say, where you are today, meaning you have a very famous wine, you have the vineyards that I know from where it's coming from, but somewhere you are doing everything, so from the plantation to the bottling. And so I wanted to really know how you knew, if you knew about viticulture and oenology, when how you knew about that, if you went to school, when you really starting to work and you were involved in the vineyard. So, you know, I will say from a teenager to today, I know it's a long period of your life, but somewhere...
Just a quick recap of the last 30 years?
Yeah, no, I have questions for the last 10 years. So more,
Okay.
I will say how you...
The beginning.
Yeah, the beginning, your dad came, planted this vineyard, and after somewhere, I don't know really what
Yeah,
you...
so I was 10, and when we moved up here from San Diego. My dad was a veterinarian down there and got tired of the vet life, wanted to be a farmer. So he looked all over California. I think for about 2 years they were looking all over California, and, you know, Napa, of course. They were always coming up to Napa when I was a kid in the 70s. So I think they looked all over, but they found this place here in Paso Robles. Loved the countryside, loved the soil that they found, but really kind of had no real idea what would happen. This was like back when there wasn't a whole lot of vineyards around us. There was HMR out in our area, and there was a couple little Zen vineyards, but that was about it. You know, so pretty kind of minimal planting in our area. But they went for it. My dad, being the mad scientist that he is, did his homework and research and figured out what he wanted to grow and planted 32 acres of mainly Chardonnay and a little Melon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they I don't know what they were thinking.
No, but that's my point. And so I knew a little bit about the story of how you ended up, and more or less you were raised in Paso. My question was more how you kicked when you were, I don't know, 16, 18, 20?
Well, like, so growing up in there, it was, you know, we did all the work ourselves. So even when I was a kid, I was out there helping all the time. And, you know, doing everything, you know, my first job was putting in the drippers for the whole 32 acres, you know, and so we were out there all the time working away. And so I got to know the vineyard through that. But by the time I got to through, you know, graduating from high school, I was kind of done with it. I was like,
it's cool.
Exactly. I've been working in this vineyard for a long time. I'm done with it. I'm going to go off to college. I'm going to learn to be a botanist. I want to be an ethnobotanist, which is they're the you know, like the botanist that go out into like a native, like in the Amazon rainforest, and they see what the native people have been using for their plants for medicines, and they kind of bring that back and try and figure out what exactly. So that's what I wanted to be when I left here.
Okay. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah. Right? So Cal Poly San Luis Obispo for 5 years studying botany. So I was still in the plant realm. Yeah. Studied ecology too, so it was like a concentration of botany and general ecology. But I was still coming back, working weekends, working summer break, working whatever in the vineyards. And by then I had made all my friends down there, and they're all coming up to help in the vineyard too. So it was kind of fun. I had like 4 or 5 friends every time we'd come and working in the vineyard. So I kept on with that, but kind of thought I was going to go off and do something else. But by the time the 5 years of being away,
so you were 18 plus 5. You were 23.
I was 23. By the time I was 23, graduated from Cal Poly, and I was like, it wasn't that bad, but of course, I don't even think about finding a job or wherever. I'll just go manage the vineyard. My mom's like, yeah, you can come back and manage the vineyard and take care of things. And so I kind of came back loosely. Didn't really think that it was gonna, who knows, stick. But then I got a little job in another winery and started kind of delving into that.
So it's more or less when I met you, that was
so it was pretty, early on. You were what, 98?
98,
98. So that was the first year that, so Matt Trevisan was one of the friends that would come into the vineyard. We were roommates down at Cal Poly. So he, had gotten a job at Justin, and I was managing our vineyard, and we were selling pretty much all of our fruit to Wild Horse Winery. And Ken Volk, nicest guy in the world. Yeah, he allowed us when Matt and I decided that, hey, let's get together and do a little something. I can like maybe pinch a ton of this and a ton of that, and we can pick some second crop. And so actually, I think Matt had left Justin, went over to Wild Horse, and Kenny Volk's like, yeah, sure, you guys could use the corner, and you don't even have to pay me. Just at the end of the day, when we're done doing everything, you guys can do your stuff and then clean up when you're done. So it was a great opportunity because we were both, completely broke.
So it's more or less at this time you got the virus, kind of.
So it was like, oh, we can do this, and throughout my growing up, I helped my dad make a couple barrels of wine, and so I had the background.
Your dad was not at all involved in the wine. He was just taking care of the vineyard.
Taking care of the vineyard, selling all the fruit off. But he had a passion of making a couple barrels of wine and having fun with it. But he never wanted to be in the selling it. He had a lot of friends that were winemakers, and they seemed like they were always out trying to sell their wine. And to my dad, that was like, he did not want to be the guy out on the road trying to sell his wine, So he never wanted to get into that. But for me, that's why we started so small, just a little bit, and hopefully we won't have to sell it, and we can just do it on the side. And so a few hundred cases.
So
back in
somewhere, no school background, kind of, because that's somewhere. It's what I don't know, but it's what I was feeling speaking every time with you, every time we speak.
You were thinking, this guy doesn't know anything.
No, because you will see. At the end, I have a good definition about you. And so let me take back my question. But somewhere you answer to my second question. So you have to know somewhere that it's interesting to do the beginning of the whole story, because now Justin is really the cult winery in Paso. So he went very fast, and from more or less unmotivated, I will say, attitude, hobbyist, very fast. You became somewhere completely addicted. I think because he's too humble, even your dad made a right choice about the location. Like you said, maybe not about the grapes he planted, but at least I think he put the finger on the right spot.
Great spot.
It's you slowly the last 10 years who, I would say, brought somewhere a new impact and somewhere showed the potential of this vineyard on the spot through the wine.
Well, it was, you know, when I left Matt and Lenny Colodo and started Saxum, you know, it's kind of back. It was a chance to start fresh again, and so it was kind of. I started it with the focus of kind of keeping it small again. You know, I think Lenny Colodo, we got into a few thousand cases already by the time I split off again.
I thought it was even smaller.
Yeah, no, well, it was. I didn't leave until 2001, so we went by 2000 big crop. So yeah, I think we were close to 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Back then, maybe I think. But so when I left to start Saxum, it was like I wanted to refocus, and you know just do what the potential, you know, realize the potential of the vineyard. So it was like, you know, I want to take the grapes, the very best plot I think we have, and you know, farm it the very best. Yeah, the very best that I think I can do, and you know, get the very best barrels and the very best whatever, but try and, you know, see exactly if we did everything, you know, no compromises, you know, no
that's
holding
the only
back
way
with the money, you know.
To make the best, is no compromise.
So yeah, when we started Saxum, it was no compromise. We can keep it small, but yeah, let's make it only the best.
Good. So somewhere you answered to no school. And I said, depending of the answer about school, I have another question. So the second question is, look like you have a more on an empirical approach. And it's what I like with him. You have people that are very technician and they're a little bit boring. And Justin is more or less the opposite of that. That doesn't mean that he's not knowing what he's doing, but he has a very, you will stop me if I'm wrong, but
no, I agree.
I feel that you have a very good empirical approach than technical approach, making wine. And so I will describe him like the Yoda, you know, the Star Wars green guy with the little triangle hairs. He's a Yoda in wine because when, especially at the beginning, because now he's progressing, and so, you know, because of money too, and now maybe also because you know more and more what you're doing. Even before you had already this good feeling and this natural, I would say, knowledge. It was inside you. You had a good feeling. Yeah, you have still really. My question was, so you're more empirical than technical. So if I'm right, can you develop that a little bit more?
Yeah, no, I agree. I've always kind of come at it that, you know, it's all about how you perceive the wine, you know, how you taste it. So it's so hard to be technical in that, you know, to break it down exactly what pleases your mouth. It's
but if you went to school somewhere,
you would maybe think you could break it down, but you can't. It's like, you know, seeing a nice piece of art and it pleases you, but it's impossible to like say why it pleases you, you know. And so I've kind of thought wine is like that it's you know, impossible to kind of break it down into numbers that are the reason why you enjoy it. So yeah, I've always come at it that it's, you know, how it feels to you, and so it's coming at it from the you know, opposite side. So yeah, we don't run numbers on anything. We're strictly going off, you know.
Yeah, so that is really from I would say harvest to bottling, and mostly vinification. You really, depending on what you taste, how you feel, the environment, depending on the weather, the conditions, stuff like that. No, but me, I'm a mix between both, you know, because I'm more radical. I went to school in France.
I think you have a similar.
Yeah, at the end, yes. And
hard
I'm
to me, but you actually,
more.
you learned some stuff in school that applies to this, where I didn't. So I don't have the technical side if I wanted it.
No, I would say more than technical, theoretical because, but I have a formula about that. It's more I know, less I do, kind of. So more I'm believing in my feeling and my taste, more than numbers. But it's good also sometimes, at least at the beginning. But you move from scratch to where you are today, and you're kind of a reference just through your feeling, which is. So you had a good feeling.
Sometimes you get a good roll.
Yes, in your case, I think so. So when you make wine and you make your blend, what is your vision about it? It's, I'm sure it's not the market who drive you, kind of. And so it's more the pleasure, the structure, the tannin. So how you make the evolution when you make your wine? What drives you to do a little bit more for this tank, a little bit less? You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it changes a lot. You know, that's, I don't know if you have something similar, but for me, it seems like every year when I'm constructing the wine or the blend or whatever, that I'm different than the year before.
Yes.
Just in my mindset of what I want it to be. You know, you've got the vintage and you've got what you're dealt, but you also have kind of what you want it to be.
Yeah.
And so it seems like, every year it changes a little bit, and I've definitely, you know, in the last, since the last 10, 12 years, it's really gone, you know.
No, really. And that's the charm of Paso Robles. We are not exactly the same kind of climate condition every year. So that we have to put ourselves, at least for the good person, we have to put ourselves in question to try, like you said, to make the wine of the vintage and not to duplicate the same wine every year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I was more technical at my question. My question was more to ask you when somewhere the wine start to ferment, when you will make pomp over, when you will make some intervention in your wine. It's again, it's no numbers, it's just a feeling, or you taste, because it's not very easy. When the wine are still very sweet, they taste very good. And so for me, it's very hard to, up to the wine is dry, honestly, it's very, I don't know what's happened somewhere. But so do you have at this time a little bit of technical approach or some rules where you say, okay, this tank, it's more punch down, I will do 3 punch down a day, pomp over, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, we're like...
Even each year is different, but you see what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I'd say the biggest thing during fermentation is just keeping the ferment happy.
Yeah,
you know, there's not a lot of like, we're trying to extract a lot. Exactly. But let's keep it happy. Let's keep the ferment going and then make it go dry. But besides that, we're trying, you know, when you're tasting the fruit, and I think when you've got, you know, when you pick the fruit and it's at that kind of perfect ripeness that you're looking for, and you know, everything kind of is tasting like it should be, then there's nothing.
So you let it go, kind of.
But you pick maybe like some block, a cool block that you have to pick because it's not going to get any riper, and it's got big tannins to start off with, and you're going, okay, what am I going to do to, you know?
So that means during the vinification, you're a kind of a non-interventionist person, kind of?
Yes.
Even you still do some stuff, I suppose.
No, I mean, we're keeping it happy, but we're, you know, so if there's something we have to fine tune, then we'll kind of change our procedures, but there's not a lot, you know.
Very
pump over or punch down.
Okay,
so
nothing revolutionary.
No, I mean, we're pretty much doing pump overs until we can do a punch down, which is, you know, the first half of its life we're doing pump overs, and then we're doing punch downs in the end, and there's not a lot of fine tuning. So kind of a very, I would say, I had the expression, but I forgot it. Non-interventionist. You let the like he said somewhere. Until it's dry and gone through mallow and it's sitting in barrel for a few months, and then you can kind of know what you've got.
Yeah, but I share your philosophy. You know, I think that a good winemaker should adjust himself to the fruit and not the opposite. So that means when you have a chance, and somewhere I'm lucky to have a beautiful vineyard like we have.
There's not a lot of problems to deal with.
Yeah, you have so much beautiful fruit that the fruit even you do nothing will give you great wine. When it's shitty fruit, it's harder, and sometimes you need to be a little bit more technical, but knowing that never you will make miracle too. You cannot make from shitty, you cannot make great. You can make shitty good, but never great from shitty. So
very true.
Somewhere to go up to the end of my question. So in fine, somewhere you make the wine you feel like it being the most representative of the vintage, and at the end, which is my case also, you make the wine you like to drink. And so at the end, we go back to the terroir, because we go back to the grapes somewhere, and so the vineyard. And so speaking about terroir, what's your definition about terroir? Because, and be careful, you speak to a French guy. So you have to be careful. But for me, at the end, I would like to have your version of the terroir. So what that mean? Because at the end, it's what give, regarding with the discussion we had before, you can do what you want in the vineyard, even you do less than most of the people. You make fantastic fruit because you're a good viticulturist, and your dad made a good job when he picked this place. So terroir, what is for you terroir?
I think it's everything. You know, it's the soil and the climate and the season that you get, and it's also the human factors in there of how you're farming it, and when you pick it, and I think it all is together as terroir. I don't think it's just the soil or
it's the altitude, the topography of your place,
how it all works together, and it becomes
we know we are at what 10 miles away, even less than that, 3 miles away if we flew from one place to the other place.
From our places? Yes, probably.
And sometimes we can harvest with a week, 2 weeks difference of timing because you have a microclimate, and that's part of the terroir, etc. Now, but I was asking you this question because for me, at the end, because a lot of people use this word on the marketing side, and I will say less they are involved in the terroir, more they speak about it. And more the real vignerons who are taking care of the viticulture and making wine, who are kind of humble. We don't speak about terroir like a punctuation, and we don't use this word every sentence. But at the end, we are really driven by the terroir. And I think that somewhere, it's what I wanted to...
and I think we have a beautiful terroir.
Yeah, and we are lucky people.
Yes.
Willow Creek terroir. So, I have maybe a few more questions. So let's go back maybe a little bit. I have still some time, so...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I would like to speak a little bit because everybody, hear about winemaking, winemaker, and for me it's just 20% of the whole story, So I would like to you speak to us also about your approach in terms of viticulture, because you're kind of very extreme also in viticulture.
Very extreme?
Kind of.
Yeah, maybe so. That changes just like the winemaking every year. And, right now what we're dealing with are completely different than what we were dealing with 3, 4, 5 years ago. So
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing, the drought,
Before, I know what you mean, but
before 2013, I never watered our mature vines, and maybe that's what you're referring to for my craziness. But so I think since 2004 through 2013, no water in the vineyard, and that was kind of my style. Keeping them happy without having to give them any water, but it's changed drastically since it hasn't rained much.
But it was also, I don't want to be too technical, but at the same time, I think, and maybe because it was from your philosophy, because we had more rainfall during the winter, but like you were not pushing the irrigation, you have natural, even on some younger vine, because you have a chance also, forget about the Chardonnay, but you had some older vines who naturally, I would say, regulate their own low yield. But I think you understood very fast that low yield mean top grapes and so top wines. And so, but also you're kind of also sophisticated in terms of suckering, taking care of the bad cluster. So you're a viticulturist also, and that for me is very important.
Yeah, no, I think it's a huge part of it.
80% for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, and for sure, I mean, that's where I started, all in the vineyard. And that was my dad's philosophy too, was that, what more can we possibly do in the vineyard to make the fruit better for when the winery buys it, or so the winery buys it, there were times when we were like, we want to sell this to. So, I mean, we would go, and, there was jokes that, he'd be out there polishing every cluster out there, making everyone look perfect and fixing each leaf, and we'd do that the whole vineyard. So I kind of started with that background of, trying to make everything look perfect. So yeah, back when I did start, that was kind of unusual.
Especially
that kind of
selling
extra
fruit.
care. Yeah.
Especially when you were selling fruit.
Yeah.
And you were not making wine.
Dropping fruit. But when you came along too, and your higher density and all the crazy stuff, I was like, whoa,
because
what's he doing?
It's my focus,
2,000 plants per acre? What is that
crazy.
craziness?
And now he planted at 4,000 plants for not a lot.
Just to be more than him.
Yeah. So it's an experimentation.
I just want to let you know you have some questions from the live audience. Hey everybody.
Hello.
This is from, and then we have a few more minutes. We'll do some Q&A at the end. But this is from John and Stacy, who are from Brilliant Mistake, and they said they both enjoy your wine so much. But what are the similarities and differences in the style of winemaking for each of you?
All right, I'm gonna start that one
first.
The first one is cab. He's using cab, where I've kind of stuck with the more traditional Rhones. And besides that, I think we're pretty similar.
Yeah, I think so.
Stephan definitely, what we talked about before, he had he was schooled in this subject. He definitely came with a lot more ideas, where I'm kind of learning as I went, catching up. I think kind of one of our philosophical differences in our wines is that Stephan, his focus is on a estate blend, and coming off all of his estate, where I'm dealing with a number of different vineyards, and I'm trying to kind of showcase these smaller vineyards. So that's I'm doing a bunch of different wines from all these different vineyards, and kind of working with their different fruit that they have there. What else? What do you think?
No, because I think somewhere in terms of wine, we had, even you made some evolution, because when he started, he made some bigger wines that he's doing today. Mm-hmm. So I've seen the evolution of that. Me, I went through exactly the same process, but I started earlier than him in Bordeaux. So I had already some experience when I came here, but my first reflex was make always bigger and bigger and bigger. And after a while, I understood that it was maybe not the good direction. But at the end, we're happy to be in Passau, and I think we share exactly the same philosophy at this point, and we have no complex. So we're not in Napa, we're not in Bordeaux, we're not in Tuscany, in Rioja, and so we make the wine of our place. So it is like it is. And even sometimes they're high in alcohol, we have a chance to have this beautiful terroir we were speaking about, which makes that to have the maturation of the tannin and the polyphenols. We need some time, more time than most of the appellation to achieve those maturation. So to have this maturation, unfortunately, we have some high level of sugar.
Why unfortunate?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. No complex. Yeah, but it is like it is. And at the end, I am in Passau. If I learned something after close to 40 years of winemaking and growing, the most important is to make the wine of your terroir, or your place. So we're in Paso, we make Paso wine, and I think in their style, they are like they are, but they are very balanced in fine. And I think for that we share exactly. He never care about the bricks, because on the other side, naturally, because the cool night, we have always a beautiful acidity, and we know that our wine will be always balanced in their style again, you know. So after, if you're a Burgundy drinker and you move straight away to Paso,
it's not
it'll
the
be
same.
A little bit violent.
And if you're trying to make Burgundy in Paso, you will crash and burn.
But when I taste that, so it's a 2010, so it's a late, for us it's late, you know, we harvested sometime end of October maybe.
Yeah, cool season.
Yeah. But it's unbelievable. It's full of spiciness. So it's more, I would say, like a North Rhone. We have this white pepper spiciness that is very rare to have in Paso Robles. So we have no time somewhere. I'm sure you know why. Well, the climate, but some
cool
stems,
season.
Cool season
Stems, 10% Roussan in there, 90% Syrah. But yeah, it was cool season.
So I don't know if we answered to the question, but yeah, we're on the same line. But
yeah, I think we have more similarities than differences.
And personality, we have, yeah. And me, I brought a little bit of Bordeaux in my backpack. That makes a difference. So I had a few more questions. Thank you, Justin. I'm old. So, yeah, no, because I'm very excited. I'm a little bit behind him about that, but I would like just to finish interview about your beautiful project. You have to come. I know he don't want to receive you, but you have to come in Paso at least. And that for me is the achievement, because everything went so fast. You know, it's amazing. I'm so amazed. I'm proud for you about how, in a short period of time, you achieve what some people do need a couple generations to do what you did. And so you're very close to finish your big project. So that means it's a cave, but it's not just a cave. It's a winery in the cave. So you have a cathedral in the middle of the cave. And on the front, you have some buildings. So speak a little bit about that to the people, because it's beautiful. Believe me, I was lucky enough to go. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so we started designing it 4 or 5 years ago. We outgrew our small place pretty quick. We have Saxum wineries, 2,000 square feet attached to my house, so pretty much a garage. We are truly a garagiste. So we started designing this, and we had a lot of problems with our current location. We can't get trucks up to it. It's attached to our house, and we're on top of a hill. There's no space to build anyway. So new location, same property. So we're starting kind of from scratch for this new place, and we don't have a lot of kind of open space on our property. We have a lot of hills and steep hills, or planted vineyard. We didn't want to pull out vines or pull out oak forest, so we decided to go into the hill. Underground. So pretty small footprint that we had to disturb, but we're able to do 12,000 square feet, all of it underground. So yeah, big fermentation room with big tanks.
Not big tanks, small tanks.
Ooh, small tanks, big for me.
Yeah, big
5 tons
you.
at a time.
But now it start to be reasonable. Yes, normal tanks.
Yeah.
No beans.
I'm coming from my garage. They're huge tanks. So yeah, we got enough fermentation space to bring our whole crop in at once if we had to, and be able to fit it all in the tanks. And we've got, all of our barrels will be stored there.
Tunnels for the barrels.
And we were able to leave part of it open.
Yeah, that's magic.
Expose the rock that we went through, which is kind of the whole heart of our terroir is this rock that we're on. So it's awesome that it's also kind of the focus of our cave is that raw exposed rock. But yeah, it was awesome because I got to do the whole thing from scratch and be like,
But you did good because honestly, it's beautiful.
So yeah,
honestly.
Stephan is doing his own cave
Yeah,
too.
and I'm behind him,
The diggers left my place and they went over to his place and started doing the same over at his place.
So every mistake he did, I learned about it, and so thank you, Justin. So it was perfect. And so when do you think that the project will be achieved?
Well, I hope to start moving in barrels of wine in just a month.
Yeah, so that's good.
But the whole front, they're saying October, November.
Okay. Yeah, so you're at
But we'll be doing harvest there for sure, even if they're still completing stuff in the. But yeah, we'll be doing harvest for sure.
So maybe the one will be even better.
Yes, that's what we hope.
No, you will have a nice tour. It's a nice tour. No, it's important, because again, the wine is coming from the fruit, and so I will say the vinification, even with bad equipment, if the grapes are great, you can make good wines. But I think just for our personal life, like a winemaker in the day-to-day during the harvest, where it's a little bit
it'll
crazy.
be a luxury.
Luxury.
When you're like going, I've got fruit to pick, but no tanks to put it in.
Yeah, no, it's a
what am I going to do? Right now, it's be like,
and that can influence on the quality sometimes because you harvest sometimes a little bit too late,
or you press something early to get it out of tank.
Yeah, exactly. You have to drain too early.
So I think we will be able to ratchet the quality up a little bit.
Cool.
So now is it my turn to tag somebody next? So I've got 1 month? 1 month to next.
He has to open next month.
Okay.
So, are you going to, you're going to thinking take someone from Sonoma or from Napa?
Oh, I'm going even farther south. I'm going to take you guys maybe Mexico, Argentina. We'll figure something out.
Okay, I know. No, I don't want to influence you. But I had a dinner 2 nights ago, and heavy dinner because we drank a lot with Santiago Achaval. Mm-hmm. And so he has a little project with an old good friend, American guy in Paso. They make the farm. And he came with this new project from Argentina. Some 100% Malbec from 2 different vineyards. It was amazing.
Cool.
So that will be because he's a passionate. Well, I'm done. I have no more questions. And so it's a very nice. You met him? Next time I will organize.
I've met him
very
briefly
nice
one
guy,
time,
passionate guy. For people who love Argentine wines, it's a very famous
Argentina
person.
next.
Yeah. See you in Buenos Aires. Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bonsoir.
C'est bon?